Welcome to FX Options University, recorded live at the International Securities Exchange, the world's largest equity options exchange. Join the industry's top trading professionals as they provide insight and strategies for trading in the currency markets using FX options. FX options are a low-risk alternative to hedging currency moves in any market condition.
Now, I want to show you this chart on the seasonalities and just get right to the point. Excuse me. This is a 10-year seasonal pattern on the euro currency. It's something I teach in my classes. It's something that my students have in my trading courses. It's just one of the different charts that we have, as well as a book that I wrote in conjunction with my good friend Jeff Hirsch. You may be familiar with his last name, Hirsch. His father, Yale, started the Stock Traders Almanac some 44 years ago. Jeff and I developed Jeff approached me and said, John, we want to do something with the commodities, and you're the guy to go to. What could you add to the Commodity Traders Almanac? And my whole thing on almanacs is it's a great idea because I've been using seasonalities my whole life in trading. It's what I was brought into the industry with. I mean, after all, think of it this way. When I got into the business working with George Lane, he was trading corn and live cattle. Those are the big markets that we had. Occasionally we would trade, the German Deutschmark. Then bonds were a big market with interest rates movements. And then, of course, in 1982, when they started to develop trading with the S&P 500 futures contract, that started to gain popularity. So in my career, I really was weaned in the markets by trading agricultural products. If you don't think that there's a supply and demand seasonal factor on agricultures, I'll tell you it's something else, because there is. I mean, you plant the corn in the spring, you harvest in the fall, and it happens every year, and that's why they call it harvest lows. That's when we make our annual lows in the marketplace right at or after harvest time. So now that we move forward and we have now so many different products, you just got to be aware that there is a seasonality to the marketplace. If we take a look at the history, and I want you to notice that if you look at this euro currency chart, at the bottom right-hand corner, you'll notice that the last time this chart was created was June of 2008. So notice that the market generally has an annual peak sometime right around the end of December, around the about the fourth week of December. Then we peak out, generally speaking, right around the first of the year, if you see that. Generally speaking, it's the bottom of October, and then we have some interim, keyword here, interim peaks and valley in the market. So it's important to look at what is the annual time period, more or less, that the market makes a low against the dollar, and what's the annual time frame the market makes a high against the dollar. Now, this is the euro versus the U.S. dollar, and this is information based on since the very first year the euro currency was introduced up until June of 2008. So it was a 10-year seasonal pattern. Some years the low may have happened in late September, and one year the low may have happened in early November, and if you average that out, you come to about the middle of October. And that's how we generally, in short synopsis, create a chart on seasonal patterns. We converge the year's data. It's numbers crunching, and that's what trading is all about. Doing your homework, just doing a lot of numbers crunching. What this does, it gives me insight to understand what is the time of year that best odds that I want to not be looking at going along the market. What's the time of the year that I want to look for potential reversals in the marketplace? And it's on or about the second trading day of January. I do not want to be long. I want to look for selling opportunities headed into on or about the first week of February. So that this is where we're at right now. The market, we're in this time period, January, February. We're concluding, we're in the last week of January, so you'll probably see we're coming up to a potential interim bottom in the market in euro versus U.S. dollars. We could probably see a pause in the market before we see more declines headed into late March. Now, what would March? Let's think logically what that could mean. Well, January, February, end of March is what? It's the end of the quarter. So we see dollar strength against the euro in the first quarter of the year on average every single year. So as a trader, I want to say, okay, how is the market responding in this year to its past seasonal tendency or historic price moves? And you have to admit to yourself it's pretty damn bizarre because, you've been hearing in the news and you've been hearing in reading in blogs or the Wall Street Journal how the dollar has been strengthening mysteriously, right? And it's not really a whole mystery. I don't focus on the how as much as the why. I mean, why is the dollar moving? Right now it's a seasonal tendency. What's the how? Well, the how is a lot of uncertainty on what's going on in the world. Is Portugal going to default? Is Greece going to default? And the Eurozone right now is in trouble. Are they weaker as an economy as a whole? Germany manufacturing is declining. We can get through a whole list of fundamental reports. All you have to do, cut to the chase, look at the seasonalities, and I can say, hey, on average, I don't care what the reasons are, but here we have a seasonal tendency to price decline. And now you're kind of already just cleared through the muck, cut through the chase, and now you're able to focus in on technical analysis and say, am I ready to make this trade, or do I want to believe that this year we're going to see the same type of move? That's question number one. Question number two is you have to ask yourself is, in order to see if the euro is going to go weaker against the U.S. dollar and follow its seasonal tendencies, we need to ask ourselves, where has the market been? So those are two kind of very important questions. And the third question is, what can I expect out of the trade this year? Are we going to see a more magnified move or maybe a muted move this year? I mean, are we coming off a historic high, or are we coming off a kind of like a historic average price? And so maybe we only look for a potential muted move in the euro currency. So that's where I'd like to say, if I go back here, and bear with me, I'm going to share my charts right this second. Go to share, and I'm going to go to a desktop. And I believe I'm sharing my desktop. I'm not sure if this is all working correctly.
Looks good, John.
Well, that's good to hear. Excellent. And in what I'm sharing with you right now, and I'm not sure how to get back, Steve, but folks, this is my first time of flipping back and forth, so please
I think if you click on the bottom, that blue arrow, it'll take you back, I think. Want me to click on it? I think you can do it also.
Yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. I think I see it. Select content to share. Okay, so here we are. And what I wanted to show you was this year, particularly, if on or about the 1st of January, the first, this is the 28th, the first trading day, the second trading day, this is the first week, the second week. We want to be looking at dollar strength, euro weakness. And as you can see that we've absolutely started to see from a weekly chart, I'll switch this over to a daily chart. We've started to see right in here that the euro currency is absolutely now still weaker from where we started the year, and it's a matter of saying, all right, what can I expect out of the trade? Some of the technical analysis tools, just to describe what you're looking at, this is a trading system. This is, first off, this is the person's pivots. This is a trading account through Thinkorswim. This is actually my account. What you are looking at are a couple of indicators that I've created, folks, that are on Thinkorswim's platform. First thing is that this is person's pivots on a monthly basis. If I go over here to studies real quick and show you edit studies, you'll see that we have monthly pivot point analysis and this thing called PPS, which is person's proprietary studies.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. Get trading ideas, exchange rates, webinars, news, and commentary. Visit www.fxoptions.com. ISE FX options can be easily traded through all options-enabled brokerage accounts. These exchange-listed securities are cash-settled in U.S. dollars and have a European-style exercise.